Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Vancast for moving on with our space stuff. And to learn more about space, again, we're going to have to go inside atoms, the smallest things that make us. So previously, we've looked at different stuff. Gravity, we're going to go back to gravity, but also including atoms. So I have a really good video for this. So for our notes that you can find right on Teams in the files, you click files on top. Okay, so density. Density is how much something has that makes it, or the weight of something. Like gold has a lot of density, and cork is not very dense. Okay, cork is that comes from the bark of a tree, and they put in wine bottles, things like that. Okay, water is pretty dense or heavy. Feathers, they're not dense, right? They're pretty light, and they're less dense. So you guys understand that, I believe. Okay, but when we talk about density of some things in space, okay, the universe, things that are just beyond our imagination, actually, it's other level stuff. It's just a whole other level of density and gravity and masses of things. Okay, it's more than we can imagine. But the key to understanding what we're going to mention here about density, especially in stars and different bodies in space, is to understand that an atom is mostly made of space. It is not like a marble solid. It's the opposite. It's kind of like the space between us here and the moon, something like that. The moon, it's basically that kind of space in between us. Okay, it's not solid, an atom at all. It's really energy in space, actually. And it takes a massive amount of gravity, more than we can imagine, to squeeze atoms so much so that the atoms actually get smaller and the parts of an atom actually touch each other. Okay, and then I'm going to actually add, okay, this can release massive forces from the strong and weak nuclear forces, or force I usually use. Okay, so that's part. We talked about the strong and weak nuclear forces inside atoms. They're massive. So, and those are important, especially for space. And in our future, we'll be using those to make electricity and energy. Okay, so we're going to look at this video, and then you'll just have to describe using your own words what we talked about, and that is going to be it for your assignment. So let's go to this video, and this is showing you what I'm talking about. So this is into the video. Okay, so we're here in the video. We'll go to the beginning. It's just 2 minutes. But you can see this is from the edge of an atom looking into the nucleus. So in there are the protons and the neutrons. And you're looking at the edge. Okay, so this is what it gets to. And this basically shows you it's mostly space. It looks like you're looking at like a galaxy, right, in the universe. It looks totally different. So let's just go to the beginning. We're going to get to that point right there. I stopped recording. I hope it runs together. Okay, so this better go to the beginning. This is acting funny, actually. This is not what I want. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's the beginning. So there we go. Getting down to the atomic level, and we'll be stopping like down here. Right down there. That's what we're getting to, right there. Smaller. These measurements down here are fractions of a meter. You're getting down to 1 billionth, 1 trillionth of a meter. atom. So here we're going into an atom, and you can see it's mostly space. Mostly space. It's smaller, smaller. Down here is kind of how big. So you're basically getting around 10,000 times smaller. Roughly 10,000 times smaller. All space. Atoms are mostly all empty space. And there are the neutrons and protons. And when we start getting with some of these amazing forces in space, we start squeezing these together so that they actually touch. They look like they're touching, but they're not actually touching. So all that space between all the different atoms, so the protons and neutrons of other atoms, we get so much gravity, so massive that they're squeezed together. And like here on Earth, we can't do that. We just don't have that kind of gravity. So it's another level of density way beyond what we can imagine. And what makes protons and neutrons, those are called quarks, more recently discovered. But anyway, that is that. Let's go back to hopefully our understanding. So basically, you're just going to have to use your own words to try to describe simply what we've just said. Use your own words in about 4 sentences. Describe what we've just talked about. Density and how we need an unbelievable amount of gravity to squeeze protons and neutrons, the nucleus of atoms, together so they touch. And then you're talking about space explosions and amazing stuff. Okay, that is it. Hope I can stop this thing.